Hey everyone. Rob, do you want to come join me? You can press the microphone and the camera on the bottom right to come join me.
Hello.
Sweet. Hello,
Hi,
hello.
Ho-Yin. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Can everyone hear me? If you guys, everyone should be able to hear me. If you cannot, type in the general chat on the bottom right. If you guys can't hear me or see me, or if there's any issues. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, cool. Rob, do you want to do any intros or do you want me to just start
Sure,
or?
sure. So I mean, I know you have some slides that you want to go through, but I just wanted to introduce everyone to Ho-Yin. He obviously is the founder of Remo, and as you can tell, it's a very different way of interacting. So I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us and also to record this conversation for the rest of the kind of cohort to watch. So yeah, first off, thanks very much for joining and for hosting us on here. I have a whole bunch of questions that have been sent in about Remo, so I'll hold off on those until the end. I don't think we should necessarily do intros for everyone else quite yet. Maybe we can talk about that at the end. But is there anything else that you would wanted to kind of go over before
Yeah.
you briefed about it?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, thank you, Rob. Really excited thank you for inviting me. And so today, what I'm going to talk about is really about this remote platform and kind of what's kind of like the major use cases, what it is, and then I will then kind of show a few slides about it, and then I'll kind of walk through some of the features and why it's kind of compelling. So just to kind of just to share with you what Remo really is. Remo is we help virtual summit event creators have a immersive online face-to-face video networking online, and it's right from your Chrome browser. So you don't need to install anything. You can immediately have that human touch in terms of being able to talk to someone on a table and easily be able to meet them, network, and have that kind of human aspect to it. So I'm going to go through today, right now, first, what this screen is. So this screen, what everyone sees, is sort of like the webinar mode. So when you have discussion panels, you want to have one person to kind of talk in that virtual summit. This is like the screen that they would do. So I just asked Robert. I gave Robert the sort of the speaker ability so he can join me. He can also turn off his camera and he can also leave as well. And when he leaves, then it will just be me. And I can also share screen. Yeah, there you go. So on the top right, we have a Q&A box. And in this Q&A box, you can type in questions. And in those questions, you can ask and they can be voted on. So you can vote on these questions. On the bottom is general chat. So you can type in whatever you want to express or the things that you have. So I'm going to share my screen and share really briefly this one. So if you guys can see my presentation, at the top right, there's like a little icon that you can kind of expand it all out. You know what? I might have to reverse this. I'm going to move this over here. Just give me a second here. See if I can do this. So I can expand it out. I don't know if this is going to work. Sometimes it doesn't necessarily work very well here. I'm just going to expand it like this. Okay. So I'm just going to just kind of briefly kind of talk about it. Oh, I see. Okay. Ooh, can you just refresh, please? Just go ahead and refresh. Just refresh it entirely. And you should be able to come back in. I'll just refresh the browser. Okay. So let me know if you guys have, yeah, just let me know if you guys have anything else. So what I'm trying to kind of promote is really about virtual networking, and I'll explain what virtual networking really means. So virtual networking, one of the challenges when you have with like online events is that when you attend online events, there's limited interactions with speakers. It's all pre-recorded, and that's great. But one of the things is that offline events provide a lot of interaction with speakers, and that's one thing that offline events do very well. The second is that there's very limited opportunities to network with your peers, to network with other people, and due to the nature of due to the nature, sometimes it's a bit difficult to kind of, well, it's just, you just don't have that many opportunities to talk with other people when you're watching like a pre-recorded video. And even in a large Zoom call, when you have more than like 10 or 15, 20 people, it's also quite difficult. You can only have one person speak at a time. And sometimes it just gets lonely just watching videos by yourself. So it turns out that over 50%, almost 50% of the people who attend conferences actually want to network with their peers. So virtual summits, what I see, anything that's kind of, that's not just virtual summits, but any kind of online webinar, it also has this challenge where we can't offer the number one thing that people want. And that's basically one of the things that we want to try to solve with Remo. Okay, so I'm going to try this. I'm going to send this to Oob. Oob, if you can't see this webinar portion, you can click on the link that I have below, and that will go to the YouTube live stream. So Remo is the Skype for virtual networking and allows attendees to meet others in a real and natural way. And I'm just going to share with you one case study really quickly. I can share this case study if you guys want the details, but I'm just going to go through it really quickly. So Remote Work Summit, which we hosted earlier this year, is one of the largest virtual summits online. Over 10,000 attendees, had over 30 pre-recorded expert interviews, and they wanted to find a way to really engage their audience. And so they chose Remo really as a way to not only broadcast live, but also offer a unique experience that allows people to network easily and give that kind of human aspect, the human interaction, and allow people to exchange contacts. So what does the Remo.co solution look like? So you guys kind of saw it. So the Remo.co solution basically allows you to fit 500 participants in this space. We will be having several floors, and each floor can fit 100 people. And through that, what that allows is that you can have different sets of people communicating and networking with each other on each floor. Now, each of these tables basically act as its own little Zoom call, and you guys are kind of jumping around from one call to the next, which is great, from one table to the next. And what that means is that people have the freedom to move to any table that they want and to network with whoever they want. And that's the biggest difference from features like Zoom, from plans like Zoom. Zoom, you do have breakout rooms, but it's all determined by the facilitator, the host. In this case, anyone can go to any table that they want. When you're at the table, people then can start to network with each other. And that's really the key. That's really where the magic happens. When I first started using it, in 30 minutes, I got 10 contacts. I got 10 emails that I used for lead generation and for me to kind of like connect with others and to collaborate. This webinar version, it can broadcast up to 3,000 participants. And if you have YouTube live stream, it can broadcast to infinity. We see that engagement is much higher. Sessions are very well attended, very high attendance rate, and almost everyone exchanged contacts at least once. So that achieved the goal where people want to exchange. Speakers get more exposure, and they're able to develop their leads a lot more better because they get to talk to their clients, or talk to potential clients, talk to potential leads, get that personal touch going. And also, Remote Work Summit pitched having virtual networking only available for premium pass ticket members, and this increased revenue for them. So really, really great results. Many people felt that virtual networking was something that added a lot of value. Post-event survey, 50% of attendees would pay more for a conference with Remo virtual networking, and almost everyone attended at least more than one. So I'm going to go through the key features in a moment, and we'll go through this later. And basically, really, really good engagement results. And we've got some videos that I can send you later that just show some testimonials of what people really liked about the product. So right now, I am going to share another screen with you of the actual product itself. Good question. So the question is, hey, if there would be any integration with HeySummit, could Remo adopt HeySummit look for conversation? So Robert and I are at some initial conversations about integration. And Rob, yeah, perfect person, perfect timing, Rob.
Yeah. So I mean, well, I certainly don't want to interrupt you, but didn't want you to feel like you had to speak all the time. Everyone. So a couple things. One, we're looking to integrate with Remo in a bunch of different ways, in a bunch of different stages. Because it's a hybrid tool, it can be both. I mean, as you're going to be able to see, it serves several purposes. We're also looking for feedback from you all as to how best you want the integration, and then we're going to push to see what's possible and what's easy enough to implement. So, yeah, I'll leave it there just now. But yeah, we're definitely.
I think Rob and I were in some initial conversations. We are interested in integration, and to answer both of those questions, like for the bottom one, which is to log in twice, that's part of the conversations that Rob and I need to have. I would say that we need to kind of work things through a little bit before we kind of get there. But I think I would think we were in agreement, Rob and I, that we want to make it easier for you guys so that you can integrate together and to use both platforms together. So that's definitely something I think me and Rob, I think we agree on. The other question is, if there'd be any integration, could Remo adopt a HeySummit look? And yeah, I mean, that's something that we can consider. Color scheme is easy. Typically, like if you want a more specific map, let's say you want more tables, or you want a different variety of tables, like I want some 2-seaters and then some 4-seaters and then some 8-seater tables. We do customize maps. We can do that. You can pay us and we can customize the map. However, for HeySummit, I think we can definitely do like a HeySummit version. And that would be something that's beyond us. I mean, I don't mind doing that. And that's probably something I could discuss with Rob. Yes, so the question and answer is yes. So we are working on that. Right now it's just Chrome, but we are working on Safari. Actually, Safari does work. It's just we need to go back and do more testing. Yes, thank you. I'll if you guys all like that enough, then yeah, we can think about it for sure. To get back to the browser question, Safari does work. So it does work. It's just that we need to go back and do some more testing, but it will work. Other Chromium browsers like Opera is okay, but other Chromium-based browsers like Brave kind of work. Firefox kind of works. It's just that they don't have a lot of population, so we're just really focused on Safari and Chrome. Internet Explorer we're not going to support. Maybe Edge later. Okay. So I'm going to just kind of walk you through what the product kind of looks like. So this one's kind of like an empty template. I'm just going to show you what it looks like from an admin standpoint. So you can see here, that's me. And you guys have definitely like saw this, that you can double click onto any table and you just go to that table. And you turn on your mic and cam, which you guys did. And that will automatically talk to the people within that table. And this button right here is share screen. You can chat as well. You have the general space chat for the entire space and chat with just the table. And then you have people underneath, which I'm sure you guys saw. There's individual people that you can direct message. And then we have something called a space announcement, which I can show you later. But essentially, it's a space announcement where I can say, hi, the talk is about to start. And what will happen is that it will send out a message to all the participants. So you can use this to communicate with them without turning on the broadcast mode. This one is the button that actually initiates the live stream. Okay. And then when you open the top corner 3 lines, then you get a lot of the settings here. So one of the cool things is that you can connect your LinkedIn. Let's see if I've connected it this time. Yes. So once you connect your LinkedIn, you basically get this profile card. And this is a new feature that we just released. People wanted this feature a lot. And what this does is that it pulls your LinkedIn information, your name, the information here, from your tagline, also from your company, your flag, and also the local time that you're in. And then you can immediately click on this button and it will open a tab for your LinkedIn account. So that allows people to connect on LinkedIn like that. The next one is you can set up a book meeting link. Now this is really good for sales and really good for people who are looking for partnerships. I have, you can put in like your Calendly link or your Meeting Bird link. I use Meeting Bird. Can we add LinkedIn info in HeySummit?
Not yet, but we are working on it. So again, something that we'll talk about later. Yeah.
Okay. Great. Thanks, Rob. Thanks for answering that one. So there you can see that you can immediately book a meeting with me. So why is this important? This is important because when people go to networking, right, typically you say, hey, guess what? I got 10 contacts. But when people come to my networking events at Remo, people say, I booked 10 meetings. And that is the value that we want to bring. It's you meet someone, you get their email. The next thing you do is you do the email dance, right? Oh, what was this email like? Oh, what happens? What time are you free? And you go back and forth. Now it's straight to a meeting, and that's what we believe is value in taking the next step. A real strong call to action to take the next step. Okay, I'm going to ask a few questions. While you're in presentation mode, is direct chat to other? Yes, at the moment it is. At the moment, we really want people to focus on the speaker themselves. We don't want them to chat. We don't want them to go back into the into the tables and kind of network, because we heard from other summit organizers is that they want people to focus on the speakers. However, if you guys, after you guys use this and you feel, hey, you know what, I want people to start like connecting with each other anyways, we can definitely have that as an option. Any green screen possibilities? Good question. Not at the moment, but that's a great question. Okay, so then the next option is you have update profile. In update profile, you can change your picture, name, and also you can add your meeting scheduling link in here as well. And then you click on save to save it. And then you have kind of like the event settings. I'm not going to go through in detail the event settings, just kind of gloss over it. But it's just more like, today's event, this is the event name. The speaker name is Ho-Yin Cheung, founder, CEO kind of thing. And you can put in like images, company logos, stuff like that. See if I can just put real quick one. I'll just put a quick one right there. And then the left billboard, you can insert like a YouTube video. And the right billboard is you can actually insert the agenda. Very simple. It's quite long, but it's relatively simple at the moment. So I'm gonna click save for now. And then when you go back, you can see the agenda and the updated names and all that kind of stuff there. It also updates like the front page as well, the login page. Okay, I'm not gonna go through in detail. I'm just gonna show a few more things. This is some stuff that you can edit, as in the welcome message. And then in the broadcast, we use like a third-party application to do the Q&A. So you just have to enter in the Q&A link in here, and you can connect to YouTube Live. So what you see right now, my video and the share screen, all of that is, if you connect to YouTube, will be streamed directly to YouTube Live. So the link there'll be a link that'll be provided here that will show a page that will have a YouTube video link, and people can watch this webinar portion on YouTube. And what happens is that when you stream it on YouTube, YouTube automatically records it. So every time you press the stream button, it records. When you press it off, the recording finishes and the file is already on YouTube. Already there. Done. You don't have to do anything. Just go onto YouTube, go to the live section, and then you can immediately take a look at the video and then start downloading it, doing whatever you need with it. Once you turn it back on the stream again, it will then start again. So let's say, for example, you had a 30-minute session of discussion, and then you took a break for 15 minutes, and then you took another 30-minute webinar session. Those are two separate files or two separate videos on YouTube. And then post-event is you can end this. This is for ending the space. This basically kicks everyone out, and then this exports a list of users, their emails that were actually in this space, and also how much time that they were in this space for. Let's see. Last thing, we have networking timer. This is for really specific people who want to have a timer for their event. So let's say the number of networking session is 1, and I'm just going to put some numbers in here really quick. So it's 1 round, and each round is 12 seconds, and I can play it, and it will just start counting down. So once it counts down, then it's finished. So this is something that you can use for networking, or you can use for one single timer. And then let's see.
Ho-Yin.
So there's
just on the timer. Could you just give a couple of examples of how someone might use that timer in a networking context, just so that they can get some?
Yeah, that's a good point. Thank you for that, Rob. So there's a few ways you can use that. The networking timer, if you want to have a more structured networking event, you can have something like, I want 5 minutes for people to network with one person. And then you can have 10 sessions of that. So one of the persons on that table can be assigned to move from one table to the next. Or they could just randomly just find a partner. It doesn't really matter. And you can use that as a timer and say, hey, you only have 5 minutes to network with one person. After that, you need to find someone else. And that allows people to network more. It forces people to network a little bit more. And that's been very effective. Another way you can use a timer is you only want to have, let's say, for example, there's a person that comes up to pitch something, like they have a 10-minute pitch. Then you can say, I'm only gonna give you 10 minutes to pitch. And they just come up and pitch something, to talk about something. But that might be a separate use case, but primarily is for the networking. Hope that's clear. Thanks, Rob. Okay, here's a question. I think we want to use HeySummit for event and presentations and limited Remo mostly social networking through expert speakers. Yeah. So let me explain to you. That's a good question. So there's a few major use cases for how people now are using the product. So the first way is that people are using it for networking events before or after or during the summit. So you can insert it in between, and it could be just networking. Second way is you could invite some of the speakers to come in during those networking events so that they can then have another opportunity to do whatever they need to do. Sell more, talk to more people, get more leads, answer questions, get more exposure. The third way is what some people can use is they use this for live sessions itself or workshops. So you could have a bunch of recorded sessions, and you could have a bunch of live sessions to kind of change things up a bit and to make it a little bit more interactive. Yeah, so that's that. One thing that's really interesting is that a lot of people they're using our product, and I have one that's called Lead Magnet Summit that's actually happening next week. What they've been able to do is they've been able to get anywhere between $1,000 to $4,000 US for a sponsor to put their logo inside Remo. Just their logo inside Remo. And they can name the table as well. So I'm going to show you how to do that actually. So if I right click on this table and it's a change room name, I can say like sponsored by, I don't know, I'm just giving an example, sponsored by AT&T or something like that. And you can even have the event name also have the sponsor as well. So what Lead Magnet did is one of the networking events was sponsored by a company. So that gives you a lot more sponsorship and financial opportunities to do more interesting things for your sponsors based off of the target market that you have. This video can also is also a video which I can just quickly put in. This is also a video that it's a slot that you can sell as well. And so we're really interested in seeing if this is something that you guys are interested in. Save that. So video sponsor, play, and it's just basically a YouTube video that people can watch upon click. So there's a lot of options that I think would be very interesting. And if you guys like the product and like these sponsorship opportunities, we can build in more. And some things that we're thinking about building is like having a booth here. So it's literally like a YouTube video, but it's here on the left-hand side with the logo and has a button on it. And that button might be a lead magnet. Like it might be like, oh, download this PDF or download this checklist or something like that. And this can be utilized. Sponsorship windows, yes. Cool, great. Yes, the question was sponsorship windows, yes. Yeah, so if you guys are interested in this, in kind of increasing the sponsorships that you want on your summits, this is really one great way to do that, because there's just so much live interaction within here, and people, it's right there. Like you can't miss it. People definitely see it. Let's see. Anybody else have any more questions? If Rob, do you think I've covered? Do you think there's anything that I need?
Yeah, no. I mean, this has been super helpful. So a couple. What I had done beforehand was just go through and think about different scenarios that you might use this. Just because Remo is so, I would think it's quite flexible in terms of what you're able to do. And I think that at least for some people that I'd been talking about might seem a little bit intimidated in terms of trying to find use cases. So I had a couple of examples, and I wanted to know if I could share them, and then make sure that either for everybody to listening, you can hear them, you can try and use that as a prompting off point, and then also just to hear if you have other kind of examples that can also inspire thoughts. So on one hand, there are some people that run summits where recruitment or meetings is one element. So I would imagine that you could use Remo for having recruiters. Let's say you were doing a summit that actually includes recruitment of candidates. You could have two seat tables, and each of those tables could be a recruiter or a visitor or something like that. And then people would be able to have 10-minute slots in to speak with them. Another one that I thought would be like as a perk, you'd be able to have all of your speakers available during 1 hour for office hours, similar to kind of like what we do, but your speakers all are at a different table. And you could sell that as an upsell. So even if you're not talking about full on networking, maybe you're not sure of your summit's engagement. Maybe your summit attendees are spread all over the world. So, every day at 6 p.m., it's not likely that everybody will be on. But for a dedicated 2-hour slot, if you know that all the speakers are on there, if you have a gold ticket, you could use it. You could use it that way. And then I also thought that maybe you could use it in conjunction with either doing it through Remo or doing it in other ways. But if you are running workshops and you want to use it for breakout rooms or to complement to continue the discussion going. So if at every talk that you're giving, that the speaker then prompts the audience to say, if you want to continue the conversation, head over to Remo. We're going to break up into 5 different groups, and each handle a specific set of questions. First off, do those kind of make sense, and are they pretty typical? Ho-Yin, are there other kinds of examples? Just to kind of
Oh yeah, I love it, Rob. So recruiting for sure. So we already hosted a few recruiting fairs, online virtual fairs that kind of fit about what you're talking about. So that's great. I didn't know about that. So for sure, office hours, I think that's a great idea. Somebody just wrote in a question here about office hours. I think that's great. They wrote office hours, multiple time zones. Yeah, for sure. And I think like one of the things that is important about is that the speakers get an option to tool demonstrate. Yeah, to really get an option to, you can get the speakers, you can make it more worth it for the speakers if they have more opportunities to get exposure and more opportunities to gain more leads or to achieve whatever financial goal that they need. And this allows them to do that. And plus you have an option for them. So it's not just, oh, record this and then done. Is that if you're looking for more interaction with attendees, it's like setting up a booth. But you don't have to actually travel to the conference to set up a booth. You can just do it from your home.
The other thing that I think Remo allows you to do, or would allow you to do, especially in the way that we're looking to integrate with it, is you do track how much time someone spends in a specific space, and that data is available. Right. So if you were to want to include that in your viral incentives, or as a requirement in order to get a handout or to get a perk, that you need to attend 5 networking sessions over the course of the week, and you'll get whatever lead gen. The data is at least there for us to be able to talk to one another, so that we're able to pull that data out, so that you would be able to maybe make up a bit more advanced triggers from within HeySummit. So yeah,
that's a great idea. Yeah. I think your other ideas too. Like, I think your other ideas are really good. I think you're right. Having a start with some of these ideas is a really good way to start, and then try to figure out like what works, will be good for your summit. It depends on what kind of summit you have, what the market and the niche is. Yeah. So, but yeah. Great
are there any uses of Remo that you've seen people use it for that were completely surprising to you, like quite oddball ones that you weren't anticipating? What were they?
Yeah, for sure. Love to share. So Remo actually started off as a virtual office. So that's one use case. So people used our product and wanted to do co-working, for example. So there's a few that want to continue the community by creating sort of like this, like a lot of summits use a Slack, right? Use Slack to kind of get people to like talk to each other, but a lot of Slack communities kind of died down. It's very common. Like there's just a huge graveyard of Facebook groups and Slack groups that just don't really get going. And a lot of these communities, it's very difficult. You see the community manager trying really hard to like get it going and like, make sure the engagement's good. But what's great about this platform is people want to use it as a co-working or a community space because they want to continue that community. They want to continue that interaction between the users. Once they start to like meet each other, a lot of them actually become friends like through the platform. I have 6 people that I hosted for a Women in Tech conference. 6 people, they met each other there. They loved each other so much. They then created their own mastermind accountability group afterwards. And I only found this out like last week. They're like, hey, did you know that that you met at that event, we still talk to each other. We talk to each other every week. I was just amazed. And I see this story happen again and again and again. People meet each other through the networking, they swap contacts, and they develop relationships. And one lady, she's from Minnesota. She met a girl from Greece. She's flying over to Greece to see her during the winter holidays. So a lot of really great stories that you can kind of pull out of. You're just watching your community kind of form itself. You don't have to like push it. It's just watching. You're just putting humans together and just watching
with a
them
tool
moving.
like this, I would encourage everybody to think about it, just because there's so many different ways that you can configure it. I think that, and because you have so many different options, you're also though constrained by certain different features that are already out there. And so I know that people are saying, well, it would be great if it does this. It would be great if it does that. What I would challenge you all to maybe think about is look and see what Ho-Yin has outlined so far, and what it can do what it can do now, and think of ways that you can express your creativity and the way in which you want to engage your community and try and develop that, and have a little fun and give a little personality. So, in my mind, if you're running a networking session and it's speed networking and you have 2 minutes to talk to each other, you could make a fun video at the beginning just to tell everybody the rules, and put that YouTube video front and center. Make light of the fact that this is a fun, awkward start to a virtual summit, just the same as it would be to a physical summit. So you can, a happy hour or what have you. There are ways that you can not only use the tool as designed, but prep some content around it to make it something that is not only useful for your attendees and a useful lead gen, but also just something that just means that your summit's a little bit more memorable, and something that they may hold on to.
Absolutely. So there's two. So that's, you're totally right about that. So if you guys are organizing summits like frequently, you can then record the people who are in here, and you can record their faces. What we do is after every event, we then take that footage and we put it into a video highlight reel, like a little highlight video. And now you can show people, hey, this is what people were doing. And you edit all the ones where people are laughing, and it looks like, wow, like there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of socializing going on, and you have some footage. Now, here's a trick that I think you guys could try. You guys want, and this is something that I've seen other summits do. What they do is a few months before, they host like a happy hour or a short pre-summit meetup with, like, let's say like the premium ticket holders, for example. And you do it and you have them come together, or you could have one person basically be one speaker, kind of like speak, just give a little bit of tidbits of what they're going to talk about later. And you host that event on my platform and you record everything. After that, you take that video, you snip it, and then you use that as part of your promotion material. So then you can promote it through across your socials, send it to people, and people can kind of see the product, see what experience that they could potentially get.
If you do have any other questions for Ho-Yin, please feel free to start asking them. I actually had a list of questions, but your presentation pretty much went through everything. And if you think of them later, obviously, post them into Slack, and I can convey them to Ho-Yin.
Sure.
And obviously we'll keep you apprised of our progress with integration. This isn't a typical integration that we're considering, because you can use it in a bunch of different ways. And so we're just trying to think of ways that we can allow you to use Remo in a bunch of different contexts within your summit. So it's just going to be taking us a little bit longer than normal, just because we want to do it correctly, and we want to make sure that we give you a bunch of different ways to use it.
So there's a question that says, we have the opportunity of a lifetime deal with HeySummit through AppSumo. Will we get a similar opportunity with Remo? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't have the pricing yet, but I am thinking about doing it. I want to do it through AppSumo, and but we can probably organize something separate outside of AppSumo. So great question. Is there any other questions?
I think
Ken is about to say
it.
something. Yeah, I think that is it. Okay, cool. I'm gonna turn off the stream, and we can go back and we can chat for a little bit. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys soon. See you there.